Clarity is the foundation of all greatness. Without it, you're just drifting, reacting to life instead of creating it. When you don't know exactly what you want, your energy gets scattered. You chase distractions. You say yes to things that drain you. You waste time on paths that lead nowhere. But when you have clarity, real clarity, you move with certainty, purpose, and power. You stop negotiating with your goals. You stop doubting. You start acting like a force of nature. Most people walk around hoping they'll find success, hoping they'll stumble across their purpose like it's some buried treasure. That's not how this works. You don't wait for clarity, you create it. You sit with yourself and get honest. What do you really want? Not what your parents wanted, not what society told you to chase, not what's safe or reasonable. I'm talking about the truth that lives inside your gut. That big, wild dream that scares you. That goal that makes your heart race. That's the clarity you need to chase. When you know exactly where you're going, decision-making becomes easy. You stop asking, "Should I do this?" and start asking, "Does this move me closer to my vision?" That one shift changes everything. You stop chasing every opportunity, you focus, you cut the noise, you get disciplined, not because you're forcing yourself, but because you're pulled by something greater, something clear. Think about it. If I told you to hit a target but blindfolded you, you'd fail every time. But remove the blindfold, and suddenly your energy becomes effective. That's what clarity does. It removes the blindfold. It gives your mind something to aim at, something to lock on to. And once your brain knows what you want, it starts filtering the world differently. You begin to notice people, tools, and situations that align with your goal. It's like turning on a GPS. Before that, you're just wandering. But here's the part most people skip. Clarity isn't just about the what, it's also about the why. Why do you want it? What's the emotional reason that makes this goal non-negotiable? Because when things get hard, and they will, you won't push through unless your why is stronger than your excuses. Your why is the emotional firepower behind the clarity. It's what gets you out of bed when motivation is gone. It's what keeps you locked in when everyone else is quitting. You can't afford to be vague anymore. I want to be successful means nothing. I want to be rich is not a target. Clarity sounds like this. I will build a $10 million business that gives me freedom, impact, and legacy. Or, I will lose 30 pounds and feel strong, confident, and unstoppable in my body. That's clarity. It has detail, it has emotion, it has power. And when you lock in on that kind of clarity, everything changes. It's not magic. It's focus. It's intention. It's knowing who you are, what you want, and why you refuse to settle for anything less. Burn the boats. That's not just a catchy phrase. It's a mindset. It's the moment you decide that retreat is not an option, that failure is not something you'll entertain. It's the point of no return where you commit so fully to your goal that there's no safety net, no backup plan, no escape route. And that's when you find out what you're really made of. Most people never get there because they always leave a door open, just in case. They keep their old job, just in case. The new dream doesn't work out. They stay in toxic relationships, just in case. Being alone feels too scary. They dip their toe in, but they never jump. And because of that, they never truly succeed. Burning the boats means you cut off Plan B. You decide that the only direction is forward. You're either going to make it work or die trying. That kind of commitment is rare, but it's also where real breakthroughs happen. Because here's the truth, when you give yourself a way out, you will eventually take it. The mind loves comfort. It wants to protect you. And if it knows there's an easier route, it'll convince you to take it the moment things get tough. But when you eliminate the alternative, when you say, "This is it, there's no turning back," something inside you shifts. You find courage you didn't know you had. You become resourceful. You adapt. You fight harder. The people who rise to greatness, the ones who dominate in business, sports, or life, they're not always the smartest or the most talented. But they've burned their boats. They've backed themselves into a corner where the only way out is through. That pressure creates growth. It forces you to level up. Think about it. If your life depended on succeeding, you'd show up differently. You'd focus harder. You'd push longer. You'd stop playing small and start playing to win. That's the edge you get when you remove the fallback. Now, this doesn't mean you act recklessly. It means you prepare like your future depends on it. Because it does. It means you do your research, you build your plan, and then you commit so fully that failure isn't even something you allow into your vocabulary. It means when fear shows up, and it will, you don't run. You stand tall, you face it, and you keep moving. Too many people dabble. They're half in, half out, wondering why they never get results. Success doesn't come to dabblers. It comes to those who go all in. The second you decide there's no going back, the second you cut ties with the old version of yourself, the one who hesitated, who played safe, that's when your life starts to change. You weren't meant to live halfway. You weren't designed to keep one foot in the past and one in the future. You were built to leap. And when you do, when you burn the boats, the only thing left is progress. Emotion is the fuel. Without it, even the best strategies fall flat. You can have the perfect plan, the clearest goals, and all the tools in the world, but if there's no emotion behind it, you won't move. You won't follow through. Because we are not logical creatures, we are emotional ones. It's not information that drives us, it's what we feel. Emotion is what gets you to show up on the days you want to quit. It's what gets you to dig deep when the world says you've got nothing left. Emotion is the difference between a wish and a decision. People say they want change. They say they want more, better, different, but they say it with zero emotion. And so nothing happens. They think about what they should do. They analyze. They wait for motivation. But motivation doesn't come from thinking. It comes from feeling. It comes from tapping into the emotional fire that's already inside you and using it to fuel action. If you want to become unstoppable, you have to stop suppressing your emotion and start using it. Pain and passion, those are your power sources. Don't run from pain. Don't hide from what hurt you. Use it. Let it remind you of what you never want to feel again. Let it drive you to become the person who never goes back to that place. Pain, when harnessed correctly, becomes rocket fuel. It lights a fire that no setback can extinguish. The same goes for passion. What excites you, what lights you up, what makes you feel alive, that emotion, that sense of purpose and intensity, is not random, it's guidance, it's energy. And it can take you farther than discipline alone ever will. When you connect emotion to your goals come alive. It's no longer just lose weight or make more money. Now it's, I want to feel strong again. I want to wake up energized, proud of the body I live in. Or, I want to provide for my family in a way that makes them never worry again. That shift from logic to emotion changes everything. Now there's something real at stake. Now you're no longer just thinking about it. You're feeling it in your bones. And once you feel it deeply enough, action becomes automatic. You don't need more time or more knowledge. You need a stronger emotional connection to your outcome. You need to associate massive pain with staying stuck, and massive pleasure with rising above. That's when change sticks. That's when you become dangerous. Because now, quitting isn't just about giving up a goal. It's about betraying something emotional, something that matters. Progress over perfection. This is where real power is born. Perfection is the enemy of momentum. Too many people are waiting until everything is lined up, until the conditions are perfect, until they feel fully ready. But life doesn't reward the ones who wait. It rewards the ones who move. Progress means you act even when you're unsure. It means you take the next step even when you don't see the whole path. It means you launch before you're fully confident. Because perfection is a myth. It's a trap that keeps you stuck in your head while life keeps moving forward. The truth is, perfection is just fear dressed up in fancy clothes. It's fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough. So people procrastinate, tweak, and delay, convincing themselves they're being careful or strategic, when really they're just scared. But action beats fear every time. The moment you shift your focus from being perfect to just getting better, everything changes. You release the pressure, you free up energy, you create momentum. And momentum is what makes people unstoppable. Think about it. Every master was once a disaster. Every expert once felt like a fraud. Nobody starts at the top. But those who win are the ones who stayed in the game. They fell forward. They made mistakes, learned, adjusted, and kept going. That's what progress is, movement with intention. It doesn't have to be fast. It doesn't have to be flawless. It just has to be forward. One step, one call, one representative, one conversation, each one stacks. And over time, those small, consistent moves become unstoppable force. There's a confidence that comes from progress that perfection will never give you. Perfection makes you fragile. Progress makes you resilient. When you're focused on perfection, any setback feels like a disaster. But when you're committed to progress, setbacks just become feedback. They don't break you, they shape you. You learn, you grow, you evolve. You become battle-tested. And that's where real confidence lives. Not in being flawless, but in knowing you can handle whatever comes. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. They want instant results. They want perfection now. But greatness is a process. And if you can fall in love with that process, if you can commit to just getting better every single day, no matter how small, you will win. Because progress compounds. 1% better each day doesn't seem like much in the beginning. But keep showing up, and it becomes exponential. It builds belief. It builds identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying, and start seeing yourself as someone becoming. This mindset frees you. You stop comparing yourself to others, and you start competing with the only person that matters, who you were yesterday. That's the target. That's the standard. Not to be perfect, but to be better, stronger, clearer, more committed. The moment you shift into progress mode, you take back your power. You stop waiting and you start creating. Your environment shapes your destiny. You can have the best mindset, the biggest dreams, and all the internal fire. But if you're surrounded by negativity, by low standards, by people who drain your energy instead of fuel it, you will struggle to rise. We like to think we're in control of our choices, but the truth is, your environment influences you more than you realize. The people you talk to, the energy you absorb, the standards you're exposed to, they all pull you in a certain direction. So, if you're serious about becoming unstoppable, you have to get ruthless about who and what you allow in your space. Look around. Who are you spending the most time with? Are they lifting you up or pulling you down? Are they challenging you or letting you coast? Are they pushing you to grow or keeping you comfortable? Because comfort kills dreams. And you can't soar if you're constantly tethered to people who are afraid to fly. This doesn't mean you abandon everyone in your life, but it does mean you become intentional. It means you start curating your circle with the same care you'd use to build a championship team, because that's exactly what you're doing. High standards are contagious. Get around people who think bigger, who play harder, who hold themselves to a level that forces you to level up, and watch what happens to your identity. You start acting differently. You talk differently. You make bolder moves not because someone told you to, but because that becomes the new normal. That's the power of environment. It rewires your expectations. It reshapes your habits. It makes excellence feel like the baseline instead of the exception. It's not just people. It's also what you feed your mind. Your social media, your news sources, the books you read, the content you consume daily. Those things are programming your beliefs whether you know it or not. So ask yourself, are you feeding your growth or feeding your fear? Are you surrounding yourself with inspiration or distraction? Because you can't be immersed in mediocrity and expect greatness to grow. It doesn't work that way. Sometimes changing your environment means letting go. Letting go of old patterns, old identities, old routines that no longer serve you. It means creating space, physically and mentally, for the person you are becoming. Maybe that means rearranging your home so it reflects clarity and discipline. Maybe it means waking up earlier to shift your energy before the world pulls at you. Maybe it means finding mentors, coaches, or peers who force you to stretch. Whatever it is, don't wait for your environment to change. Design it. Because at the end of the day, you rise or fall to the level of your environment. That's not weakness. It's reality. You don't outwill your surroundings. You align them with your vision. You build a world around you that reflects the world inside you. One that pulls you toward your highest potential, not your lowest excuse. One that reminds you daily of who you are and who you're becoming. Unstoppable people don't wait for permission. They move before they're ready. They don't ask if it's okay to dream big, to take the shot, to speak up, to lead. They decide, they declare, they act. Because they understand something that most people don't. Certainty isn't a gift. It's a decision. You don't get confidence and then take action. You take action and then confidence shows up. Waiting for the right moment is a trap. There is no perfect moment. There is only now, and what you choose to do with it. The people who dominate their space, the ones who create real impact, they're not always the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who moved while everyone else hesitated. The world is full of people with potential. Potential means nothing without execution. You don't get remembered for what you plan to do. You get remembered for what you made real. And the moment you stop waiting to feel ready, waiting for approval, waiting for the fear to disappear, you start separating yourself from the pack. You create momentum, and momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates results. Results reinforce identity, and identity changes everything. Playing small doesn't serve anyone. Shrinking your vision to make others comfortable is a betrayal of your calling. If you feel like there's something more inside you, it's because there is. If you have a fire in your gut that won't go away, that's not random, that's your sign. That's the part of you that already knows what you're meant to do, but it can't lead until you act. Stop looking around for someone to validate your mission. The people you admire didn't become great by asking for permission. They became great by taking the risk, owning the result, and showing up over and over again. Fear will never fully go away. But courage doesn't mean absence of fear. It means you move anyway. It means you use the fear as fuel. You flip it. You say, if I'm this nervous about it, that means it matters. That means I have to move now. And once you move, everything shifts. Doors open. Opportunities appear. People start responding differently, not because they changed, but because you did. Because you stopped asking and you started creating. You don't become unstoppable by being liked. You become unstoppable by being committed. You decide who you are. You decide what you stand for. You decide what you will no longer tolerate from yourself. That decision changes your posture, your voice, your energy. People feel it. Life responds to it. And suddenly you're not waiting anymore. You're leading, you're building, you're living in motion.